Okay, good evening everyone. I'm Dhruv Agrawal. I'm the CEO of Ether Biomedical. It's a great pleasure to be in Kyiv on this beautiful day and to be part of this wonderful conference. So my gratitude to the organizers for creating this conference, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun tomorrow when we talk in the collaborative sessions as well. I wanted to quickly come up and introduce our company as well as talk about some of the work that we have done in Ukraine over the last 7-8 months, maybe 9 months, and what we are planning for the future as well. Just as a quick recap or a review for our company, we are a team started in 2018, team of more than 50 plus FTEs based out of Poznan in Poland, subsidiaries in the US as well as India. As a team, we have raised over 16.5 million euros in private and public capital and partnered with some of the largest clinics in the world. Within the team, we have a multidisciplinary team with over 80% of the team members involved in R&D, have some clinicians as well as some people on the product and the business side on board in Poznan, US and India. Our products are certified to the highest standards associated with ISO certification, FDA regulation, CE certifications, and we also, as I said, work with largest clinics across the globe such as Hanger, Superhumans in Ukraine, Innovamed in Poland, etc., etc. As you can imagine, with Piotr being here on the stage, the product that we build as a company is Bionic Hand. But essentially the first question that we asked ourselves when we started this company was, why build another bionic hand when there is many of those that already exist in the market? And so when we started exploring the problems that exist within this industry or within this product segment, what we found out that first of all, current bionic hands are extremely weak in terms of their grip strength. They're especially weak for the Ukrainian soldiers that we have right now. Second problem is that these devices break a lot. The third problem is that when these devices break, it can take forever to get them repaired, average timing being somewhere from 6 to 8 weeks. And there are many times when the patient won't even get a loaner unit to be able to use during that time frame. And then final problem was that these devices have absolutely no connection with the digital ecosystem or the digital world that we live in today. So we are not able to use any of the digital health functionalities that are available in multiple other pathologies, in multiple other product categories within the field of healthcare. So to solve these problems, we started this company and introduced our product Zeus, which is the strongest bionic hand in the world right now in terms of grip strength. It delivers over 152 newtons of grip force and has more than 35 kilograms of carrying capacity. It is a quite robust device. We have done our best to make it as strong as possible in terms of impact resistance. But the most interesting functionality of our product, which becomes even more crucial for the situation in Ukraine right now, is that when our device breaks, it can be 100% locally repaired in under 60 minutes. And 60 minutes is the maximum time that it takes. For simple repair like a finger module, you can repair it in less than 5 minutes. So you can be always sure that when a patient comes to you with a broken hand, you are going to send him home back with his own repaired hand as well. The final thing, we have combined the hardware bit that we have developed with a software platform that allows for some really interesting features that I will talk about in a few moments as well. In terms of the repairability, as you can see on the screen, the photo that you see shows the exploded view of the product. So the product is essentially built out of 7 modules, and these modules allow the clinicians to make any repairs on site. And this also allows us to keep the inventory of those spare parts here in Ukraine itself. So you never have to ever wait for your device to get repaired, and the patient can always go back home with a repaired hand. Coming on to the software bit that I promised, so we have really looked at how software interacts with prosthetic devices in general and how it has interacted over the past. What we saw that most, or rather all of the software systems that exist with prosthetic devices are local level software systems, which is basically something that you download onto your computer, a piece of software that you would download from the manufacturer's website or something like that. We have a completely different method of working. We have a web-based platform with a web application on the clinician side and mobile application on the patient side. Now this is all good from a technical development standpoint, but how does it help the patient or how does it help the clinician? That's the key question to answer. From that perspective, there are 3 critical functionalities that we are able to unlock through this web-based platform. The first is prosthetics are experimentation-based devices, especially multi-articulating hands, where there are hundreds of different settings and parameters that need to be changed over the rehabilitation journey of the patient to have the device perfectly fit the patient's profile. How can you run proper experiments if you don't track them? With the platform that we have, you have end-to-end traceability over every single configuration change that you make in the patient's device, whether it is the gain for the EMG sensors, grip settings, grip configuration, changes between proportional control, changes of EMG thresholds. All of these things can be tracked to make sure that you have full visibility, or the entire care team has full visibility on what a patient's history looks like from a prosthetic perspective. Second and very important thing, in fact extremely important from the current situation in Ukraine, is remote configurability. Historically, these devices, these prosthetic devices have been limited to only have any kind of configuration changes when the patient is sitting in front of you. And that's really problematic, because as soon as the patient leaves the clinician's office, there is really nothing you can do. The patient calls you with a problem, there is absolutely nothing you can do to solve that particular problem. Not with the platform that we have developed. With the digital platform, clinicians are able to remotely connect with a patient's prosthetic device and send them new configuration changes, look at the data associated with their EMG signals, and use that to provide better care to patients even when patients are at their home and clinicians are in their office or wherever else in the world. This has also actually allowed us to get multiple clinicians from US help the Ukrainian prosthetists and orthotists in providing care to patients, because there is a lot more that can be done remotely now than was previously possible. And then the final thing, and this is something which has really frustrated me when I started working in this industry, is we give these multi-articulating bionic hands to people without ever asking the question, are people actually using them? And essentially, to answer that question, the digital platform that we have built does end-to-end monitoring of multiple parameters on device usage, occupational therapy goals, physical therapy progress. So you can actually use data to make decisions about the care program of any particular patient. Up till now, since the beginning of this year, we have already fitted over 70 patients in Ukraine, and we are going to be able to fit more than 100 patients by the end of the year with this Zeus bionic hand. The way we are working in Ukraine is not just by providing devices, because what we believe as the right way to provide care in Ukraine, at least at the moment, is to combine the device and the process of fitting the device to the patient as a whole package, because of the limited availability of clinicians who have expertise in fitting such devices, and the vast number of amputations that are happening on the upper limb side of things. So from that perspective, we have conducted over 5 camps in Ukraine right now, mostly with superhumans. The very interesting statistic that we have found is that 90+% of the patients are using the device for at least 6 hours per day, which is a statistic that we feel really proud of. And during this process, we have invited over 15 specialists from the US in the last 9 months period to fit devices, as well as train clinicians. Now we are in fact taking it a step forward and hiring our teams of clinicians who will be based out of Ukraine for the purpose of fitting patients with prosthetic devices, as well as for training clinicians on how to fit these prosthetic devices for upper limb to patients. So I've been talking for quite a bit now, so instead of me going on and on about the product, I will maybe ask Piotr to give his experience as a user and show you some of the functionalities and capabilities of the device.
Hi, I'm Piotr Krukowski from Poland. I'm a prosthetic user for 15 years, and I'd like to briefly share my story with prosthetics. I started using prosthetic, my first prosthetic hand was just cosmetic hand, so no functionality, only aesthetics. Wasn't very happy about that. I wanted this functionality. Then I changed this to the body power mechanical hand. Also wasn't very happy. Good for some basic stuff, also for some things that related to heavy-duty activities, but not for daily usage. For daily usage, it's very limited functionality. Then I changed for myoelectric, but single action. So it has a very, very simple movement like this one. So only one option. So I was able to learn how to use myoelectric prosthesis, but still I didn't feel connected with that because it didn't give me the possibility to do these activities that I would like to do. Then I had a very early myoelectric bionic hand that I was super excited about it, but after a few weeks of using, it wasn't a dream. It was very weak, very fragile. I break it after 3 weeks. Send it back to my prosthetic, send it back to manufacturer. I was waiting for like over a month for getting it for repair, and then even forgot how to use it. And right now I have something different. Looks similar, but works completely in different way. I have hand that is very strong, that allows me to do most of tasks in my daily life. If I would like to eat something with just knife and fork, because of strength, is very possible. Even I can cut rare steak with that knife, with that hand. But also, it has many smart features. So let's say we sometimes need to be very delicate. So I have, let's say, plastic cap like that. I don't even have to look at it. I have a system that detects soft objects. So even with heavy-duty activities or some fragile, it's work too. Of course, if I would like to, I can use force easily. So I have full control as with my physiological hand. Yeah, it's also very robust, impact resistant also in this direction. So I can put, if I hit on something, I can put my whole body on that. Even if I fall down on the ground, it's a not big deal. I can just stand up, not being afraid of breaking it. But even if I break it after some incident, the same day I have my prosthesis back. So I can feel confident with that. I can do things, I can learn things. I can focus on doing things, not being afraid of breaking my hand. Yeah, of course it has many possibilities, so like general grasp, but also more precise grips. So even with this kind of precision, lift capacity, I can lift like that, 35 kilograms. I can read a book like that, switch pages, work at the computer, so like that, type on the keyboard, operate computer mouse, adjust the computer mouse, then click left, right button, and it's only beginning. So everything this can be programmed, and I think in this kind of experience that I have, that we collected over the years, we can shorten or this journey for Ukrainian amputees, not only Ukrainian, everywhere, to not learn 15 years how to do it, but do it quicker. We have right now solutions that can get back these people to the mobility in much more shortened period. Yeah. We have also Eric here, who are working with us for some time, and has very broad experience with upper limb prosthetics. He's American certified prosthetist who are working on recent camps in Ukraine, and be happy to share for your experiences.
Hello, my name is Eric Ramcharan. I'm a upper limb specialist for Hanger in Florida. So it took me about 36 hours to get here a couple days ago. I have been doing upper limb for about 20 years now. I've done a bunch of outreach, medical outreach, humanitarian outreach in Mexico, in Colombia, and 3 times here in Ukraine. My friends asked me if I was crazy to go to a war zone, but I just have such a love for helping people, and I have an experience that not very many people have. So from the war, I think we heard earlier, there was a lot of amputations caused by tourniquets. So we've seen about 100,000 amputees from this war alone. About 30% of them are upper limb or combined multiple. Of those upper limb, a lot of them are high-level amputations, meaning above the elbow, higher to shoulder. That makes it an unusual case because there aren't very many experienced specialists in Ukraine. I was here 2 years ago during the war, which we did some training, trained 3 specialists who are now seeing patients in their clinics, and I'm coming on board to help train in Lviv and continue to see patients with superhumans. It's quite an honor to be here. Thank you for having us and inviting me. So the uniqueness of these patients require special skills. They have limited range of motion, limited bodies to hold on to, so sometimes your prosthesis has to cover more of the body. And as we see these patients progress, they are very healthy. Their wounds are mostly healed. They have some scar tissue, but rather young patients, different from the normal population that we see at that level. Currently, we're seeing in the camps 12 to 15 patients in a 2-week, 10-day period, which is quite a lot. But as I said earlier, we have about 30%, so that's about 30,000 patients that are upper limb. At this one facility, they're waiting about a year and a half to get seen. And that's just too long. So my goal is to help train more and hopefully get this backlog taken care of sooner than later, because the longer you wait to wear something, the less likely you're going to want it. So these patients are really motivated. They're very young. It just takes a lot of us to get it done. Some people are coming in from Poland. Some people are coming from the US. Some people are coming from Sweden. It's going to take years. And that number just keeps getting bigger. So be happy to take any questions. Yes?
I was wondering, what is a good strategy for helping increase awareness and reach of your product?
Of the product, you want to answer that one?
I can answer that.
Yeah, I mean, I think with respect to our product, so I think generally speaking, within the prosthetics and orthotics community, there is a good enough level of knowledge for bionic hands. But when you look at patients, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in educating patients on the different options available for them, because it's not just about bionic hands, right? Bionic hands are not a perfect solution. They're not a good fit product for every single amputee. Every amputee is different. For some, the bionic hand might be a really good solution. For some, single action myoelectric might be a good solution. For some, a mechanical device might be better. It all depends on the type of amputation, type of patient population, etc., etc. So we definitely need to work more on education campaigns along with the NGOs, along with the government, along with different regional as well as central governmental institutes, so that we can educate patients first on what are the options that are out there, and then choose the right option for them based on the type of activities that they want to do. So I would say the main thing here would require collaboration between companies, not just our company, but different companies within the upper limb prosthetic space coming together, because Ukraine is a place where the scale of upper limb amputation is something which just doesn't exist in other areas. It's going to take a lot of multiple companies coming together. It's not up to an individual company, but everybody coming together, putting a package of solutions together, and then using the right device for the right patient.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that. Mostly you see less than 2% upper limb in your career. 2% of the population, 2%. At this level, you're seeing hundreds of thousands. That's going to be. So the companies that exist don't have 100 hands just lying around. So all of a sudden, you've got a numerous amount of amputees that need equipment, but it's going to take months for them to make it or create the backlog. So that's what he mentioned is we're working with a lot of other companies to help get that up and running. There isn't a lot of companies that are based here around this area to help flood the area. So Autobach and Phil Auer and Aether is here to help.
Third time. So you mentioned that there are many amputations from the shoulder down.
Yes,
And the prosthetic you showed is, I believe, just lower forearm.
below elbow, yes.
So do you have prosthetics that go from the shoulder down as well?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the higher level of specialists you need for that patient. Patients amputated here, here, and here, and sometimes here. Different prostheses, different shoulder joints, different elbows, different componentry to put it together, but we're seeing so many of those patients, and very few clinician specialists, prosthetists, have never seen that level.
Second question. So for an example, for the lower forearm prosthesis, what is the cost of the item? What's the cost of the training?
I'll let you know that.
For below elbow prosthesis.
The one that was displayed, for example.
Yeah, so the cost of the prosthesis in itself generally ranges in the, depends on device to device because devices are different. It ranges from, $8,500, $9,000 all the way up to $35,000, $40,000 depending on the device that you choose. And then the cost of fitment, again, that depends on, if you talk about Ukraine specifically, then that cost of fitment will also again depend on, are we inviting clinicians from the US who are flying over here to fit the patients, or are the clinicians, Ukrainian prosthetists fitting the device? The general raw material cost of fitting is very little. It's in the under $500 in terms of pure raw material that it takes to make the socket. But it's about the time of the clinician and the expertise of the clinician that is generally the contributing factor towards the cost on top of the price of the product.
And what is the life of the product typically?
The general lifetime of the product that is accepted is 5 years. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Thank you for your time.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone.
I wanted to specifically answer your question there. When you asked the cost of this device, the specific one that you saw, they gave you a range of what it could be, 9 to 30 something. That particular one right there was in the $9,000 range. And when I told this to another physician, she said, I don't believe you. You must have got a decimal off. And I brought her in and they confirmed that. So I think it's just really remarkable that these guys have some of the highest technology out there, but are keeping this affordable for the locals. And a lot of that stems from, as we discussed some of the others with lower technology that was almost 10 times higher, it was because they're in other markets like predominantly the US or in Canada, and if they lower the price for one, they've just set their new rate for everyone, so they keep those higher. And these guys have done a wonderful job of providing solutions, and give a round of applause to our gold sponsors here.